And so we are now live at the Russian Embassy's Cultural Center. You can even see it down there. It says Russian Cultural Center on the wall. They did not expect us here tonight, and the evidence for that is that the wall is completely dark, which is why we have such a great image. It is why we have no light against the wall at all. You notice that they are completely unprepared for this. There's no, so you can see, I'll show you around the walls are completely dark. And we have a great shot here at the at displaying Andrey Goopsa's work. I want to tell you a little bit about Andrey Goopsa, who is I learned about actually on Twitter because somebody was sharing the work that he has been doing on Instagram. Andrey is a digital artist in Kharkiv. He is has been doing for some time now pictures in which he divides the image in half, and half of the image is the way something looks now, and half of the image is the way it looked before. These are very arresting images and were even before the full-scale military invasion began. But as you can imagine, they became all the more so after the full-scale invasion began, and buildings started getting destroyed. So for those of you who want to follow him, he is more on Instagram than anywhere else. So please follow him on Instagram at Gupsa. You can also support his work. Like many Ukrainian artists right now, you can support his work by going to PayPal later, and you can support him directly there. There is also a magazine that we will show you later on. Let's start with the first slide. I'm going to assume that things are a little bit hard for you guys to read. So these are, in all of these images, the bright red line separates the old from the new. This was Kharkiv in 1943 and modern, right next to, sort of adjacent to one another. And so these are, the first few of these images are World War II images set against modern images. So here is and again, you can see these bright pink lines separate the modern from the old. Again, this is a World War II image, 1921 versus 1941. This is Kharkiv, Constitution Square, again, 1941 versus earlier this year. And now, of course, all of this reminds us at the Russian Cultural Center of the last time Ukraine was invaded, which was, of course, by the Nazis. Okay, so now we are in the modern period, and this is the Cherniv Hotel, where he has given a notation. I will read it. These are the dates here. In this case, June 24th is the date on which he posted these. I don't know the dates of the image being taken. Yeah, so this one is a very arresting and upsetting image. This was a modern shopping center in Mariupol And he writes, this was the largest shopping center in the city with hundreds of shops, dozens of cafes, restaurants, fast food. The best cinema in Mariupol were all in it. Residents loved to spend their time here with the whole family. And you can see in the reflection what it looked like before. So the water reflection and the bombed out version of it is casting the reflection. And so here there's a series of these where this is in Irpin in Kiev Oblast, where the reflection is the modern image, and the child casting it is no longer there. This is in Vinnytsia on the morning of July 14th. Explosions thundered in crowded center of Vinnytsia. 50 cars were burned, civilians, buildings were damaged, and dozens of people were killed, including children. There's no military facility at the site. Oops, go back. And the Vinnytsia City Council declared July 15th, which is the date of this posting, as a day of mourning. Andrey writes that the photo is my offer of condolences to the residents of Vinnytsia. And again, so the reflection here is what you see before the bombing, and the actual image casting the reflection is the modern image. And of course, all of this is being cast on top of the Russian Cultural Center as a reflection of modern Russian culture. So this is a school in Kramatorsk in the Donetsk region, which is, of course, currently is currently being contested. And again, you can see the parts that are new and the parts that are recently destroyed. Okay, this is in Kharkiv. I love this particular image, the way that the building structure is still evident in both sides, but in one it's one color and in the other it's burned out. All right, this is July 31st. So he writes about, so this is looks like maybe the train station in Mariupol, which the entirety of the city has now been destroyed. And this is the District House of Culture. This is a very hard word for me to pronounce. Ochtikra, I'm sure I mangled that, from August 23rd. This is the Mykolaiv Regional State Administration, and it's a gorgeous, horrifying picture in which on either side you see what the building used to look like, and in the middle you see what it looks like now. This is a manor. I don't know Kniga's manor. Kniga, I think, means book. I don't know how to interpret that, but it's in Trotsnayetsk, also from August 23rd. And you can see it's a quite stately manor house that is no longer a stately manor house. This is the Regional Drama Theater in Mariupol, and as you can see, we have another picture of this lower down, but as you can see, this is a really quite beautiful building that is now in ruins. This is the Central House of Culture in Irpin, and again, the left half of it is quite beautiful and the right half of it is quite destroyed. So like a lot of buildings in Kharkiv, the regional state administration building has been shelled, and you can see on the left what it looked like, and on the right what it looks like now. So this is the train station in Okhtirka, also from August 23rd. I particularly like what he did here of sort of making a very jagged line of the destruction. It's not a neat separation. This one's a neater separation. Regional Library for Children in Kharkiv. It looks like it may have used to have been a church. Hard to know. In any event, it is no longer serving as a regional library. I just want to, before I go on, direct your attention to the bottom of the screen, which shows the name of the building that we're projecting against, the Russian Cultural Center. The Russian Cultural Center is part of the embassy, and we thought today we would bring you some elements of modern Russian culture, what it actually means in practice for Ukrainians. This is whether it is filtration camps that the United States government talked about yesterday at the UN, whether it's bombings of buildings and destruction of cities like this, whether it is the murder of large numbers of civilians, the murder of prisoners of war. Russia likes to portray itself as the country of Pushkin and Dostoevsky. And right now, when you have a building in Washington, D.C. called the Russian Cultural Center, it seemed to me important to bring Andrey Goopsa's work to it to show you what Russian culture functionally means for a lot of Ukrainians, which is destruction. This image is particularly upsetting to me because it's actually a museum of local history in Ivankiv. There's nothing special about the building, but there is something special about the material inside the building that has been destroyed. And this is happening all over, particularly eastern and southern Ukraine, but it's happening elsewhere too. Just a note on museums and museum preservation. If you're interested in helping Ukrainian museums preserve and protect historical artifacts and the sort of cultural patrimony of the country, you might check out the work that the Shadows Project is doing. I had a lengthy discussion on the Lawfare podcast with Katerina Bukatsky, who has been a part of previous special military operations. She helps run that work for them, and they're helping a lot of museums bury artifacts, put them in safe protective gear, and I think helping them preserve collections. This is the Department of National Police in Kharkiv. The rebuilding of government infrastructure is going to be one of the huge challenges. And again, what this building used to look like on the left and does now look like on the right. So I wish the DC City Council had a building that looked like the Regional Council building in Freedom Square in Kharkiv. It's maybe a bit on the imperial side, but it was a pretty impressive building, and now it is not.